This is above Hose Road. Are we shooting video? Are we shooting video? We hope we are. We do it with video glasses. Why are we doing it with video glasses? Well, actually, we want to talk. We want to talk about a location for satellites. Well, would this be a suitable location? Above ground, close to, on the edge of Aberdeen. Well, there's an empty field, no sheep grazing. Well, actually, what do you need for a wireless LAN with consistent, reliable wireless access? Well, satellites are wireless, and it goes all the way through space. Dr. Richard Butler, yes, he was a lecturer and actually spoke about it. So what did he speak about? Well, that was back in 2004, but we've still got his notes. Keeping data long term. Well, there's something in keeping data actually. There is something in keeping data actually. Well, it's very useful. It enables you to look back, looking forward, looking all around, looking down. Well, you need to investigate the customer facility. What do we see here? Radio frequency. Well, radio frequency is electric vehicles. That's your electric vehicle charging. Well, it really has come on leaps and bounds, radio frequency, and radio frequency might also be payment in shops, because, well, is it mobile data? Well, it might have been used to be mobile data perhaps, but there's an issue actually, paying to pay. That's the issue around mobile data. Mobile data, paying to pay in shops, but you shouldn't have to, so it should be radio frequency. Well, this is actually an issue, to be honest. You've got to consider the install location. The number of connections to be served. Well, there's about 15,000 in Invergoogie. And there's about 240,000 in Aberdeen. Well, this actually is the issue, considering the number of connections. So you need a site. You need more satellites actually, but wireless internet access from space. What's happening now? Wireless internet access is happening from space. Well, cyclists come this way, along the Bucksburn Valley paths. People use the paths. But actually you go, there's a really steep drop along there. You have to climb up actually. You can see there's a steep drop. Just look at it. Determine feasibility of desired coverage. You need to think about omnidirectional. You need to think about beaming connections to Kings Wells as well as Aberdeen. So you need omnidirectional antennas. You need them. You need satellites. Well, you need omnidirectional antennas on the ground, but microwave dishes, they're linked to satellites. And NHS Grampian has 6 microwave dishes. So they rely on satellite connectivity, NHS Grampian. So it's important for security and redundancy that we have more, satellites. Because there's an issue with the gorse on Brimond Hill. There's a big gorse fire in Northern Ireland. Gorse is raging, tackled by 120 firefighters. Last June 2023. Are we shooting video? Well, we hope we are, because we'd be gutted if we got home and discovered there's no video on the glasses. Optimum installation locations. Well, actually, we need to do something interesting. But for that one, we need to move along. We need to go along this path, take a look around. This is the benefit of bikes, because we can do motions. Yes, we do. That's a bit, cycling along this path. We seem to have met a few challenges. The path's not that smooth actually. The Bucksburn Valley paths are better for walking actually. But actually, what do we see? What do we actually see? Well, well, you've got to consider spacing between access points. What's an access point? What's a router? Routers in homes. Well, routers are wireless these days. Well, wireless internet really is taking off. Well, actually, it's very spacious out here. Spacious and roomy. This is what I actually see. But there is gorse. There is gorse, but there's not as much of it actually as on Broomont Hill, but gorse is everywhere. But some of this, well, is this an appropriate site? Well, actually there's not really enough for it to catch. It might not, well, there is gorse along this path actually. And actually, that's actually a problem for a satellite location. So is this suitable? Well, there's not as much of it as what's on Broomont Hill. But perhaps for a new satellite location, the council could remove gorse. It's a bit difficult actually, because it's prickly. But perhaps, actually, it may not go on fire along here though. The global warming is the biggest threat to satellites. It's the gorse in the northeast of Scotland. It doesn't go in shade. So that's good. It's solar panels that are the future. Well, actually, yes. You could put, yes, a better site for satellites actually on higher ground above Hose Road is over there. Yeah, you see over there, away from the gorse. Yes. Establishing a suitable site for satellites. So what else do you need? Wired connectivity limits. Well, wires are limited. But you can buggy information and video, and with fibre optics, with fibre optic cables and the fast fibre, we can record what happens indoors everywhere. So really, if you shouldn't commit crimes actually. You need to be good. Stay on your best behaviour if you don't want to go to jail. Well, this actually, are we recording? Well, we hope we are. But actually, well, there is an issue. But what are we doing? We're bugging information in video. And who's going to watch it? Well, actually, people may watch it. But actually, who's going to watch it? Well, this is the issue actually. Who watches them? Plausible deniability. You need to gather tools and configuration on GPS. Yes, GPS watches can assess mountain height. Well, we're wearing one right now. So, how high are we? Well, actually, this is actually, well, it is actually, yes, actually, yes, it's about, yes, we're about 500 feet above sea level. Yeah, West Hill's higher actually. It's about 1,000 feet. The back end of West Hill. We need a satellite site close to Aberdeen, establishing mountain height. We are about 500 feet up, but actually Bucksburn is over there, and actually Bucksburn is actually on higher ground for Aberdeen. The houses of Bucksburn. Line of sight for satellite signals, yes. Satellites work on line of sight. There's someone else using this path. People use the Bucksburn Valley Path, so they're suitable for walking. Walking from Hose Road, you can walk from Northfield to Bucksburn, along a safe path. You can also walk to King's Wells. This is the Bucksburn Valley Paths. Yes, line of sight is blocked by curvature of the Earth. Satellites work on the principle of line of sight, so this is why we need redundancy. But we relay signals between satellites. So you need multiple satellites in space. We need multiple on the ground as well. But also microwaves work with satellites. Microwave dishes. Microwave dishes and transponders. Transponding gear on the ground, yes. Well, this is all linked to satellites. You need considerations as data rates and proportional to sensitivity and range, antenna type and placement. Think about the Yagi antenna and omnidirectional antennas. This is a popular path today, the Bucksburn Valley paths. People walk dogs along here. Yes, what are your physical requirements? We need open areas, provide better range, enclosed filled areas. Trees block wireless signals. Well, actually, you got all these trees over there, so perhaps, yeah, you need, well, there's a problem actually. Yes, the trees are going to block wireless signals for satellites. So actually, this is the problem actually. You need higher ground like Birmond Hill. And actually there's a problem because there's the gorse here and the trees there, so we need to walk along a bit further, because perhaps that side's not suitable. Where is suitable? Now, what do we see? We don't see any gorse here. Well, we see a wee bit, but there really isn't much. And actually, it is this open field actually, away from the trees. It's the middle of the Bucksburn Valley paths. It's the path to King's Wells. So you're better between Hose Road and King's Wells. But there's sheep grazing. Well, that's going to annoy the farmers. But actually, sheep can graze anywhere, on hills, hillsides. And they do graze everywhere near in Stornoway on the Isle of Lewis. People have cattle grids up to their homes. Well, that's Bucksburn over there. You can see Birmond Hill. Now you can see the satellite tower on Birmond Hill from here. Well, that's on higher ground. It is, well, that is higher ground. But actually, this is also quite high ground. We established we were 500 feet up. Well, actually, you need open areas for satellites, and it is here actually. Yes, this is a suitable area. Yeah, this is actually convenient. Having your phone, Apple Pay, and your debit card, and having a £10 note with your phone. Well, this is actually useful, to be honest, because you see, it's all redundancy. Redundant payment technology. And simplifying things with autism, because you can get forgetful. But I've simplified things with a debit card and a phone together, and I just carry keys. Because with autism you can get forgetful. So talking about dementia and how to cure it. Yeah, shelves and pillars and metallic reflective surfaces, well, they all block signals. There's no buildings around here actually. Building materials, dry walls, a greater range than concrete blocks. Well, actually there's no buildings here. But we need open areas, and this actually would be a suitable space for a satellite tower in that field. And the sheep could still graze happily actually. You could have an enclosed area. Yeah, an enclosed area for sheep and for the satellites. And actually it is possible, you're away from the trees. And actually you need a tall satellite tower, but you've got it on Brooming Hill actually. So you're going to erect a tower anyway, so it's going to go above the trees. You're actually going to go above those trees over there. So actually, yes, with a tall satellite tower. There's a problem actually, because the top satellite on Brooming Hill, it actually was overloaded, and actually it's not working now. So there's a problem with putting satellites up. At Brooming Hill, you can see from here, it's actually above Aberdeen. It is a suitable site for satellites, but look at all the gorse. You can see the yellow in the distance, beyond the sheep. Line of sight for outdoor applications need clear line of sight. Design requirements. High availability achieved through system redundancy. Yeah, you need redundancy. Multiple satellites. Redundant APS on separate frequencies. Proper coverage area design. Accounts for roaming. Yeah, people are going to move around on the ground, but the satellite site stays stationary. Automatic data rate negotiation, like TCP and windowing, when signal strength weakens. Yeah, transmission control protocol, it's got built-in windowing technology. You've got the three-way handshake to negotiate a connection, a secure connection, because TCP provides security to packetless IP, Internet Protocol. Proper antenna selection. We've discussed Yagi and omnidirectional. Well, you need omnidirectional antennas because you need to cover West Hill, Kingswells, Aberdeen. You need omnidirectional support. Possible use of repeater to extend coverage to areas where access point cannot be located. Yeah, you can use repeating. Signals repeat themselves. That's what happens between satellites in space, actually. Yes. Design requirements. Scalability accomplished by supporting multiple access points per coverage area, using multiple frequencies and non-overlapping channels. Yes, you would use channels 6 and 11, for example, on an access point, for example. Access points performing load balancing. Yes, you need multiple routers at large sites. There's multiple routers in NHS Grampian actually. We didn't ask them how many routers they've got. That's a question for the future. Manageability accomplished by enterprise wireless LAN devices that support remote management protocols. Interoperability achieved through adherence to standards. Think of 802.11b, that's the wireless networking standard. To 802.11e, these are wireless networking standards. Participation, interoperability, association, Wi-Fi alliance. Specifics, applications and data collection. Be aware of applications users may be using. Loading coverage. Bandwidth and throughput, mobile users, power consumption of battery devices, constant awake mode, CAM, fast power save mode, fast PSP, max power save mode, max PSP, interference, encryption, none, 40 and 128-bit. Yeah, for the server you're going to make a detailed layout of the building. Well, there's no well, there is buildings actually, but they're away from this site here. Lots of photos. You need lots of photos for the council to convince them to build a satellite tower. You need high up land with electricity, so you're going to need an electricity substation near here. Yeah, this is the issue. It's a popular path today. An antenna is an electrical conductor. Transmission radiates electromagnetic energy into space. Reception receives electromagnetic energy from space. Two-way comms or communication, same antenna, transmission and reception. Wireless line impairment, where you've got refraction, bending, radio waves, reflection. Radio waves bounce back off surfaces. It occurs when signal encounters surfaces large relative to wavelength of signal. Multipath obstacles reflect signals so that multiple copies with varying delays are received. There's attenuation, signal delay, and attenuation distortion, also signal loss, and free space loss, and noise, and atmospheric absorption. Consider the weather at different times of year. Well, we can get snow in March actually. There was snow in Aberdeen City Centre. Fading, scattering wireless signals. Scatter out, this leads to data loss. Scattering occurs when incoming signal hits an object whose size and the order of the wavelength are lost. Diffraction occurs at the edge of an impenetration body that is large compared to wavelength of radio wave. You talk about radio waves to go with wireless signals through space. The effects of multipath propagation. Multiple copies of a signal may achieve at different phases. If phases add destructive, the signal level relative to noise declines, making detection more difficult. Inter-symbol interference. One or more delayed copies of a pulse may arrive at the same time as the primary pulse for a subsequent bit. Well, I was recording this video, because we'd be gutted if we're not recording, but we did push record, and there's an issue with the lights, because we just held it for a few seconds, and the lights went off as the recording started. So we hope we're recording, but this is the benefit of video glasses. But there's an issue. We can't read from the phone and shoot video with the phone, so we have to use the video glasses. Multiple devices, that's redundancy, and that's security. Security and redundancy, multiple devices. Thermal noise due to attenuation of electrons, present in all electronic devices and transmission media, cannot be eliminated. Function of temperature, particularly significant to satellite communication. Intermodulation noise occurs with signals with different frequencies share the same medium. Interference caused by a signal produced at a frequency that is the sum or difference of original frequencies. You're talking about crosstalk, unwanted coupling between signal paths, impulse noise, irregular pulses or noise spikes, short duration under a relatively high amplitude, caused by external electromagnetic disturbances or faults and flaws in the communication system. Atmospheric absorption, water vapor, and oxygen contribute to attenuation. Fading, fast fading, slow fading, flat fading, selective fading, Rayleigh fading, Gaussian fading. Amplitude, frequency and phase, Fourier synthesis. Well, all these things are linked to wireless technology. Well, that's information from Dr. Richard Butler. Well, how's he doing? Well, actually, he has cancer, actually. But he's actually in remission. And he's doing quite well. And look, we've got a helicopter flying over here. Well, I could land on the satellite, so there's risks everywhere. A helicopter. But we think, yes, it's around here, actually. There would be a good site actually for satellites. And actually, did we shoot this video? Well, that's the issue. It's difficult to cycle along this path. You've got to walk actually, because there's a gradient, and also the stones make it hard. It's not a tarred path, and it's tarred paths that really do improve cycling out and about. Look at the sheep. And this is Bucksburn. We're actually quite high up here. We're about 500 feet up. Bucksburn. And look at the view in the distance. Yes. and the trees. Oh, we should just shoot video actually. What do we talk about? Well, we need to talk about what's happening at court today. Oh, it's Beryl, Tracy Ann Gordon. Well, she's attending court, going in and around now. She's really nervous and anxious. But what are the Procurator Fiscal doing? Well, they were panicking overnight, and actually they're going to offer a deal so they don't put out the information about the case, because there's information they don't want out. So they're going to offer a deal. But what information don't they want out? Well, actually, we don't know. Well, actually, we don't know what information they don't want out. We might be able to work it out if we keep talking. Well, actually, yes, we do actually. Yes, they don't want to reveal what she did to Brian Davidson actually. The man really struggles to speak. And that's the truth of it. That's what they don't want out. In 1989, that's what she did actually. She gave him methadone when he smoked cannabis. And actually, he struggled to speak afterwards. Well, he really does struggle. It's very difficult to understand what he says, but actually, if you are patient with him, you can actually make him out. Yes, but he's actually got health issues. He actually was down on the floor and couldn't get up. But me and Gemma Anderson, that's how the chromatic singer, yes, we actually helped him to his feet. But this man struggles to speak, and actually the nurses just abused him actually. They tried to murder him, and this is what they don't want out actually. They actually tried to murder him on Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Day actually. He was the Christmas Day murder at the Royal Cornwall Hospital. He was the Christmas Day murder. And actually we captured that. Well, we did something interesting. We held up the Kindle and we captured there's photos actually of an entire corridor of people, of nurses, and they were all standing over him. Well, Jade, she actually had pillows. She was trying to suffocate him. This is what they did to him. And this happened actually, and there's actually photographic evidence. But we were moved to Blue Unit after that. But actually, they actually deleted data actually, but read everything in the cloud. And actually, it's linked to me actually. It's very much linked to me, this case. The case of Tracy Ann Gordon. So actually, this actually is a new development. They tried to murder Brian Davidson. And this is actually complicated. This is the information the Procurator Fiscal don't want out. So actually, what are they doing just now? What's happening now actually? They're offering a deal. But the information they don't want out is about actually to come out. They tried to murder Brian Davidson, but he was actually cared for in Blue Unit, and they didn't actually shock him. The staff there were really patient with him, and he kept banging on the walls. This is actually what happened. And this is from the Kings Wells countryside. This is the information the Procurator Fiscal don't want out, because actually they're actually well, you see, the police are standing up for Brian Davidson, and they're just trying to prosecute the nurses. Well, actually, It's Jade actually that tried to murder Brian Davidson. And actually there's photographic evidence, the police have it. And actually, that's the problem actually. This is the big problem, the information they don't want out. Or we just put it out. Or we're going to put it out. In the Bucksburn Valley paths. There's a hay bale harvest in progress. Yes, the whiskey production. That's a bag of the satellites here. Yes, the whiskey that, and all the alcohol and the mental health. And actually that's the barrier to preservation of life. And this is where the path gets better actually. Yes, you can actually cycle along this part. So tarred paths. Now we need to get home. But the thing is, we've got a problem actually. Yeah, what's the problem? Well, we can't actually share the video because we're shooting it with the smart glasses. Because we were moving along. Maybe we can't access the internet. We're not using the iPhone. You're actually better shooting video from iPhones. And iPhones work with Ubuntu now. The operating system from South Africa. Mark Shuttleworth, first space tourist. Yes, just like the Chromebook. They work with the iPhone, so you don't need Windows anymore. This is actually the Procurator Fiscal 5 computers now on Fedora Linux. They see it's more secure. It's actually, we're going to go this way. This is the way to go. This is the way to King's Wells. This is the Bucksburn Valley Path. But actually it was me that tried to bring Jade to justice, because we held up the Kindle. And actually, what the police don't want out is the images I take, they actually, well, you see GCHQ intercepts them all. Well actually this is the government communications headquarters. Well they do tech and comms. So you should get a job with them. And we buggy information and video. Well, no one watches them anyway. And actually there's gorse along here, so perhaps this is not a location for satellites. But this is actually out with. Yeah, you're better closer to Bucksburn actually. Yeah, we identified the field for the satellites. All this gorse. Yes, it really is. It grows everywhere. Who planted it? Well, it's wild. There's like a gorse. Well, actually, this is the problem for Northern Ireland. Actually, gorse grows everywhere. This is the problem for well, other things, other vegetation will go on fire. Actually, yes. So actually, satellites on Brimond Hill might actually be safe, to be honest. But it's got some people worried actually. All the gorse on the hill. It's the gorse fire in Northern Ireland. It's ravaging at the moment. Yes. Look at all this gorse. Well, we're approaching King's Wells. Well, anyway. Anyway, Beryl is a good caring nurse. She actually, yes, she tends to talk to patients and support them. And she doesn't deserve to go to jail. This is why the Procurator Fiscal, they plan to offer a deal so the information in the case doesn't come out. Because a BBC journalist actually attended the court case for Stacey Ann Gordon and Beryl. Well, Beryl was her mother's name actually. Auntie Beryl. No, you cycle along this path and then you get to the steps. Yes, you have to actually stop. This actually is the problem. Look at all the gorse. Well, that's King's Wells in the distance, the red houses.